Gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Key City Sports right here on YouTube. Key City Sports on Instagram, excuse me. Keytime Sports on YouTube and the Key on Millions.co. Here is my media feed. Now, let's get to the 3 game slate that we got at hand. We got first game, we have the USC Trojans and the Oregon Ducks. I'm going to start it off with the statistics from all of these players. You have Jaden Maiava, 201 of 301, 2,868 yards, 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing attack, K Miller has 719 yards on the season, 5 touchdowns. And here is the receiving core for the USC Trojans. Here's the kicking. And here is the defense. So, one thing that I can say about the USC Trojans as far as their defense, it has improved a little bit this season. The offense, they average 38.2 points per game. They do. They average 38.2 points per game. And you get to a point where third down efficiency for the offense is over 50% at 51. Fourth down offensive efficiency is 66. Now, we get on over to the Oregon Ducks. The Oregon Ducks are led by Dante Moore. Throughout the season, he is 185 of 254, 2,190 yards, 21 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Here is the Oregon Ducks rushing attack. Here's the Oregon Ducks receiving. And here is the Oregon Ducks kicking game. And here is the Oregon Ducks defense. Now, solo tackles as a defense, 613 solo tackles as a defensive unit. We get to the offense of the Oregon Ducks. They score 39.2 points per game. So this game is going to be close from offensive standards. Third down efficiency, 49%. Fourth down efficiency, 66%. We know what Trojans offense is going to do. We know what the Oregon offense is going to do. We know what both defenses are about. So here are some storylines coming into this game. Number 16 in the college football playoff bracket rankings, but visits number 6 in the college football playoff bracket rankings. But when it comes to the regular rankings, the Oregon Ducks are 7th. Marquee matchup with college football playoff implications on the line. Southern California will need to overcome its road woes in big games this weekend against Oregon if it hopes to secure a spot in the college football playoff. Of course, the Trojans would have to win the season finale against rival UCLA too, but there's no arguing Saturday's game against the number 6 Ducks, 9-1, 6-1 in the Big Ten, number 7 in the CFP is crucial for everything to fall into place for number 16 USC. 8-2 USC, 6-1, number 15 in the college football playoff. It's good to be in the hunt. It's good to have a team like that you believe in and looking forward to the next one. Trojans coach Lincoln Riley said, USC Trojans has largely fallen short in big games since joining the Big Ten. The Trojans are 2-2 away from home this season, with both losses coming to ranked teams, Illinois and Notre Dame. USC lost all 3 of its road games against ranked opponents last year. The Ducks pose an additional challenge. USC hasn't won in Eugene since 2011, and the Trojans have lost 3 straight to Oregon overall. For Oregon, the stakes are also high. lose to USC and the Ducks are out of the playoff, and slim chances for a second straight Big Ten title. Should Indiana or Ohio State dip in the final two games of the season, also vanish. Oregon coach Dan Lanning was asked earlier this week if he enjoyed games of this magnitude and all of the attention. The challenge is always fun. This USC is certainly a team that is a challenge. They play really good, Lanning said. These moments are fun. Obviously, when college game day is coming to see you twice, there's a reason. It speaks volumes about our fan base. It speaks volumes about our program and their program as well. When you get opportunities like that, that's something you want to take advantage of. Oregon is coming off a 42-13 rout of Minnesota of Friday night. Dante Moore threw for 306 yards and 2 touchdowns, and his 90% completion percentage rate, 27 of 30, was an Oregon single game record. He's thrown 2,190 yards and 21 touchdowns with 5 interceptions this season. USC scored 19 straight points in a 26-21 comeback win at home over Iowa on Saturday for the Trojans for the fourth straight Big Ten victory. But the win was costly with safeties, Kamari Ramsey and Bishop Fitzgerald and left guard Elijah Page all suffering injuries. Their status for Saturday's game was not known. We're gonna have to kind of do what we've been doing all year. That's been a strength of ours. It's been a strength of theirs, Riley said. I mean, you get two teams that have won as many games as these two teams have had. You're more than likely going to be pairing a lot of strengths against strengths. And that's what this matchup is going to be like. Stopping Mekhi, USC Trojans wide receiver. Mekhi Lemon averages 109 yards a game, second in the nation, and has 8 touchdown catches. In all, he's caught passes for 1,090 yards with 5 games of 100 plus yards. He's also run for 2 touchdowns and 7 kickoff returns for 144 yards and 4 punt returns for 32 yards. He ranks seventh nationally with an average of 126.9 all-purpose yards. I think a lot of teams you see the best players are able to make an impact on special teams. He's obviously one they utilize there but yeah, he's a dynamic player, and that's certainly a challenge. Lanning said, offense versus defense, in the end, it may come down to USC's much improved offense against Oregon's stout defense. The Trojans are 6th best in total offense in the country, averaging 488.9 yards per game. The Ducks D allows only opponents an average of 235.4 yards a game, 3rd in the nation. Now we get to the point spread of this game. Oregon Ducks opened up at 8.5 points, and now it has increased to 10.5 points. I believe that the Oregon Ducks will find a way to win this game because I'm still not sold on the USC Trojans defense from a consistent standpoint. Now, credit, they did neutralize Iowa But that's Iowa. Their offense has always been in their own way for the past 4 years. So Iowa's offense is not nothing. Oregon's offense is pretty much above average. USC Trojans offense is right up there with Oregon's offense. So I got the Oregon Ducks winning this game. The next game I am going to cover. This is the second game of our 3-game slate this week. The Pittsburgh Panthers and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now, everybody knows that Pittsburgh got blown out last week versus Notre Dame. The head coach said that we're just playing for the next 2 games. We're playing against Georgia Tech and we're playing against Miami. Now, the matchup for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets is here. Georgia Tech, they still have a chance at making it to the college football playoff and the ACC championship, because we don't know what Miami is going to do. Now with the Pittsburgh Panthers, we see Marshall Hutchinson, 134 of 217, 1,673 yards, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Rushing, Jay Turner, 414 yards on the season. Receiving 600 yards for Kay Johnson on the season. Here is the kicker for the Pittsburgh Panthers. Here is the defense for the Pittsburgh Panthers. And defensively as a whole, 694 yards as a defensive group, defensive unit. Pittsburgh's offense, total points per game, 37.2. Third down efficiency is 33%. That's going to hurt them in the long run. Fourth down efficiency is 64%. Okay? 64%. And you get to a point where this is the Pittsburgh's offense, and against top-notch competition like Notre Dame, they struggle on third down. And that is the main key of the game when it comes to how can you stay on the field on third down as an offense. Can you consistently stay on the field on third down and extend those long drives so that you can get touchdowns and ultimately win the game? And Pittsburgh, even though they are 7-3, when it comes to top-notch competition, they haven't done that. So we know what the Pittsburgh Panthers have done offensively and defensively. Now let's get to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Now I'm going to tell y'all something. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets have been a team this season that has pretty much surprised everybody. We thought that last season for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets was a one-off. We did. We thought that. But we see Haynes King, 184 of 253 for 2,259 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Now, we know that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are a run-dominant team. They are a run-dominant team. And we get to rushing. Haynes King also leads them in rushing. Not great, but the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are 9-1 for a reason. Now we get to their receivers. Here is their kicking game. Here is the defense for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Solo tackles for the Yellow Jackets are 653 solo tackles as a defensive unit. And as far as offensively, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, total points per game, 35.4. Third down efficiency, 51%. Fourth down efficiency, 44%. So now We know what Pittsburgh Panthers do. We know what the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets do. Here are some key storylines going into this game. Key stats. Georgia Tech offense, 496.7 yards per game, first in FBS. Passing, 272.1 yards per game, 26 in college football currently. Rushing, 224.6 yards per game in 10th in college football currently. Scoring, 36 points per game, 19th in college football currently. Georgia Tech defense, 409.2 yards a game overall. 409.2 yards per game, 105th in FBS. Passing, 243.2 yards per game, 105th currently in college football. Rushing, 166 yards per game, 97th in college football currently. Scoring, 24.2 points per game, 71st in college football currently. The Pittsburgh offense, 406.5 yards per game, 55th in FBS. Passing, 287.5 yards per game, 14th currently in college football. Rushing, 119 yards per game, 110th currently in college football. Scoring, 37.2 points per game, 12th in college football. Pittsburgh's defense, overall 325.2 yards per game, 32nd in FBS. Overall, passing 234.9 yards per game, 91st overall. Rushing, 90.3 yards per game, 9th in college football. Scoring, 23.3 points per game, 57th in college football currently. Georgia Tech is 9th in FBS in third down percentage, converting 51.3% of the time. Pittsburgh is 124th in FBS, 67.3 penalty yards per game compared to Georgia Tech's 28th ranked 43.7 per game average. Pittsburgh is 28th in FBS red zone defense, allowing opponents to score on 92.3% of their trips. Georgia Tech's red zone offensive ranks 6th, scoring on 95.3% of red zone opportunities. Team leaders, Georgia Tech passing, Haynes King, 2,259 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 INTs, 72.7% completion percentage. Rushing, 807 yards on 114 carries, 14 TDs. Receiving, Eric Rivers, 529 yards on 39 catches, 1 TD. Pittsburgh, Mason Henschel, 1,676 yards, 12 TDs, 6 interceptions. 61.8% completion. Rushing, Jacarian Turner, 416 yards on 93 carries, 6 TDs. Receiving, Ralph Williams, 579 yards on 40 catches, 6 TDs. Last game, Georgia Tech won 36-34 over Boston College last Saturday. King led Georgia Tech 371 yards on 26 of 34 passing, 76.5%, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. He also carried the ball 15 times for 53 yards. Malachi Hosley had 107 rushing yards on 15 carries and 1 touchdown. Adding 3 receptions for 47 yards, Malik Rutherford recorded 121 yards on 5 catches with 1 touchdown. Pittsburgh fell to Notre Dame 37-15 on last Saturday. Henschel threw for 126 yards on 16 of 33 attempts, 48.5% with no touchdowns and 1 interception. Jaluz Golf carried the ball 5 times, 35 yards, adding 2 receptions for 2 yards. Desmond Reed recorded 63 yards for 6 catches. The next game is also this game. Pittsburgh Panthers versus the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Let's get to these point spreads. Can y'all pull up the clip for me? Thank y'all very much. Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets are a 2.5-point favorite. Pittsburgh Panthers are underdogs. I believe that the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets will win this game, not just because they are at home, because they have the better offense, better defense, special teams, better quarterback play, and the better schematic play. The scheme, they have a better scheme than what Pittsburgh has. Georgia Tech will win this game, and this is the best season, the best 3-year stretch that Georgia Tech has had. In the past 50 years, Georgia Tech wasn't relevant until they had a new head coach. Now Georgia Tech, dare I say, is becoming a powerhouse. I mean, I know this is the ACC, but I mean, Georgia Tech, they have one of the best records in the ACC as far as in conference play. They're 6-1 in conference play, overall 9-1. So this is going to be a very entertaining game. I have the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets winning this game. Now, the final game, I'm only doing a 3-game slate this week. The final game is the BYU Cougars versus the Cincinnati Bearcats. The BYU Cougars are led by Bear Batchmere, 172 of a possible 272 completions, 63.2% completion percentage, touchdowns, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rushing attack is led by L. Martin, 912 yards. Receiving is led by C. Roberts, has 700 yards. Kicking for the BYU Cougars. On extra points, the kicker hasn't missed. On field goals, he is 18 of 22 for 81%. So the kicking game for BYU isn't all that great. And defensively for BYU, they have 602 solo tackles as a defensive unit. Offensively, the BYU Cougars, 33.7 points per game. Third down efficiency is 40%. Fourth down efficiency is 65%. We know what the BYU Cougars do on offense and defense, and I just covered the BYU Cougars a couple of weeks ago. So I know what the BYU Cougars do on a game in and game out basis. Also the Cincinnati Bearcats, I know that they have a struggle in defense. But in this game, do I really take them? Don't know, but I'm going to give y'all the final statistics for this game, and I'm going to give y'all the key statistics for every matchup that will be in this game. Now, Brian Sorsby, 159 of 265, 2,218 yards, 4 interceptions, 22 touchdowns. The rushing attack, led by T. Walker, 652 yards. He is the leading rusher. Receiving, led by C. Allen, 572 yards. And he has 10 touchdowns on the season. The kicker for the Cincinnati Bearcats, they have a 2-kicker system. Cincinnati Bearcats defense has a total Solo tackle total of 769 solo tackles as a defensive unit. Now, when we get to their offense, Cincinnati Bearcats offense is 34.4 points per game. Third down efficiency is 41%. Fourth down efficiency is 86%, one of the best in college football. Now we get to the storylines for this game, and these are the final storylines for this game that I'm going to be covering. It was only going to be a 3-game slate this week. So BYU Cougars 9-1, Cincinnati Bearcats 7-3. Both of them may have a chance at making the college football playoff. Number 11 BYU takes on Cincinnati in Big 12 action. Key stats: BYU offense overall 416.9 yards per game, 43rd in FBS. Passing 221.8 yards per game, 77th currently in college football. Rushing 195 yards per game, 22nd in college football. Scoring 34.1 points per game, 25th in college football currently. BYU defense overall 321.2 yards per game, 26th in FBS college football currently. Passing 191.3 yards per game, 34th in college football currently. Rushing 129.9 yards per game, 42nd in college football currently. Scoring 17.8 points per game, 13th in college football currently. Cincinnati offense 427.2 yards per game in college football, per game, 34th in FBS. Passing 231.3 yards per game, 67th in college football currently. Rushing 195.9 yards per game, 21st in college football currently. Scoring 34.4 points per game, 23rd in college football currently. Cincinnati's defense overall 390.2 yards per game, 86th in FBS. Passing 232.7 yards per game, 88th in college football currently. Rushing 157.5 yards per game, 86th in college football currently. Scoring 22.7 points per game, 51st in college football currently. BYU ranks 13th in FBS in defensive third down percentage, allowing opponents to convert 31.1% of third downs. Cincinnati ranks 67th in FBS with an even turnover margin compared to BYU's 12th ranked +8 margin. Cincinnati ranks 130th in FBS, averaging 69 penalty yards per game compared to BYU's 45th ranked 49.6 per game average. Both teams have strong red zone defenses. BYU is 10th in FBS with opponents scoring on 73% of red zone trips. Cincinnati red zone defense ranks 14th at 75%. Cincinnati is 136 in FBS with an average time of possession of 24 minutes, 39 seconds, compared to BYU's 15th rank of 32 minutes, 24 seconds. Team leaders: BYU passing Bear Batchmere, 2,177 yards, 13 TDs, 4 interceptions, 63.2% completion percentage. Rushing LJ Martin, 912 yards on 163 carries, 6 TDs. Receiving Chase Roberts, 702 yards on 43 catches, 5 TDs. Cincinnati passing Brandon Sorsby, 2,204 yards, 21 TDs, 4 INTs, 59.8 completion percentage. Rushing, Tyree Walker, 652 yards on 109 carries, 4 TDs. Receiving, Cyrus Allen, 558 yards on 40 catches, 9 TDs. Last game, BYU beat TCU 43-13. Cincinnati was beaten by Arizona last week 30-24. I'm going to give y'all a second to read the next. Okay, now we get to the point spread for this game. And point spread in this game, they have the BYU Cougars winning this game. Well, not winning this game, but the favorite in this game. And I think that since I just watched both of these teams play against other opponents just a couple of weeks ago, I would say that BYU is going to win this game because with the Cincinnati Bearcats defense, it's been struggling all season. Cincinnati Bearcats, I'm going to show y'all on their schedule. They have allowed at least 25 points on multiple occasions this season. Here is their schedule. Let's see. So, Cincinnati Bearcats, they've been doing pretty good. And even though they didn't look great against Arizona, when it comes to their wins, another team that hasn't played anybody of significance. So that's why I say, and also BYU, the same thing. They haven't played anybody of significance. So this game, if you're going to place a bet on this game, make sure you're placing the right bet. Just make sure you're placing the right bet. And when it comes to BYU, now BYU, they have flown under the radar. I can say that they haven't faced anybody of significance either. Their last ranked team that they faced was Texas Tech, and they lost. Now, BYU, if they win versus Cincinnati and UCF, where does BYU go? You got to ask yourself these questions because Cincinnati is in the same predicament of BYU. But all in all, I have BYU winning this game, and those are my predictions for week 13 of the college football season. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Keytime Sports right here on YouTube. Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. And remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.